if you've been in painful relationships and you identify yourself as being more anxious in your attachment style, then you can probably relate to this scenario. It's something that I'm calling the abandonment wound illusion. So let me paint a picture of what this looks like for you. You are dating someone and you are wildly attracted to them. When you're together, it feels so right, it feels so good, and then something happens to change the dynamic. They start to hurt you, and in a very particular way. They seem to come on really strong and be very warm and loving and attentive in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, they pull away, which hurts. It triggers your anxiety. And what you might feel in that moment is that the only way for this pain to go away, for you to feel more calm and secure, is to get back in touch with this person. And so then you do get back in touch with them. Maybe you reach out, maybe they reach back out. And once you do reconnect to them, your nervous system calms down. You feel safe again. The pain goes away. And so you two are moving along in this relationship or this dating situation. And then bam, all of a sudden, they pull away again. And what happens this next time is the pain can feel even more intense. The anxiety can feel even more intense than it did the first time that happened. And so what you learned the first time is that if you get back in touch with this person, if you get some sort of attention, affection from this person, then you'll feel better. And so you do what you can to try to get back in touch with that person. And you do. And then what happens? The cycle continues. That person pulls away again. And the pain is even more intense. It can even feel like you're dying inside because you're so uncomfortable because this person has withdrawn from you. And every single cell in your body might be screaming at you to get back into connection with this person. It might say something like, if I don't hear from them, I'm going to die. Or in order to feel better, I need this person. I need to hear from them. I need to connect with them. And so you keep doing this over and over again. And that's what I call the abandonment wound illusion. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today, why we get into that cycle and what the actual illusion is here and what we need to do differently to break out of this pattern. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lindsay and I am the Real Love Alchemist. I help you go from bad relationships to real love with the magic of subconscious work. So I'm a coach and I'm an energy healer, and I help you dive deep into your subconscious and release the energies, the blocks, the wounds that are holding you back from being fully open to real healthy love. So if you're interested in working with me, click on the link in the description. So what is the abandonment wound illusion? So what I'm talking about here, the illusion is the thought that comes to you when you're in this painful, hot and cold, off and on relationship dynamic that says, in order to feel better, in order to heal, in order to calm myself and be okay, I need to get in touch with this person. I need to get back into connection with them. Now, I'm not talking about a healthy relationship dynamic here. I'm talking about the kind of relationship where this person is either extremely avoidant or very emotionally unavailable, and they are just not showing up in a healthy way, in a way that you would need them to have a secure, healthy relationship. It's the kind of dynamic where, again, the person is coming on really strong, and then it feels like out of the blue, they're just gone. They're just distanced. And then they come back, and then they do it again. So it's a very painful, unhealthy, toxic dynamic. But what happens to us when we have an abandonment wound, which really just means we've experienced abandonment in our past that hasn't been resolved, that hasn't been processed or worked through, and so we're operating from that wound. And when we get into this dynamic with someone who comes on strong and then pulls away, that abandonment wound is triggered and it gets very narrow-minded with its focus, and it tells you, I need to get back with this person. And so that's what I call the illusion. It's the wound talking and saying, in order to feel better, in order to break out of what I'm experiencing, I need this person. And it's actually not true. What really needs to happen in order to break out of this cycle is to stop interacting with this person who continually pokes at that abandonment wound. So if you've been caught in this dynamic, you probably understand how powerful those feelings can be, those thoughts that say, like, I need this person. And what you may have known from your own experience is, yes, when you get back in touch with that person, those wounds are temporarily soothed. Your system starts to calm down a little bit and it goes, yes, okay, I'm back in connection. That's what I was looking for. I was feeling so alone and scared and hurt. I need that connection. And so you keep getting stuck in that cycle of connecting with that person over and over again, even though they continue to poke at that wound. They continue to like rip that scar open every time they pull away. And so you actually aren't feeling better. Big picture, you're actually just getting deeper and deeper into that abandonment dynamic with this person. So again, the illusion is the idea that in order to feel better and to heal, you need to reconnect with this person. When ultimately, you need to move out of that dynamic. And here's the thing, what will happen when you stop contacting this person who continues to hurt you, who continues to trigger that abandonment wound, is it will feel very difficult initially. All of those abandonment feelings will come up because you're distancing yourself from the person who pokes at them, so to speak. Right now in this dynamic, you're emotionally connected and a bit of attached to this person. And so when you start to disconnect, all of that abandonment stuff is going to come up much more intensely than if you try to reconnect with this person again. But now that you're distancing yourself from this person, that actually gives you the real chance to start healing. Because now no one is poking at that abandonment wound any longer. Initially, it's difficult. The feelings will be kind of intense in the beginning, but then you have a chance to truly heal because, again, you're not in touch with this person who's continually hurting you and triggering that anxiety and that fear. You might be wondering, how do I know this? Well, I lived this experience. So I consider myself to have had abandonment wounds in the past. Still working through them, honestly. It's a process. And I kept getting stuck in these dynamics with partners who would show up sometimes, distance themselves, same with dating situations. And I would get triggered and triggered and triggered. And I had this feeling that would come over me that said, I have to get back with this person. And I would almost be begging for like a crumb of attention, a crumb of affection, anything that would soothe my system, because I was so triggered, because I was feeling so many emotions, so much fear, so much hurt, so much anxiety. And so I kept thinking, well, I just have to get back with this person because that's how I'm going to feel better. But after going through that for many different cycles, I realized, actually, you know what? I'm just getting worse. Like, yes, I'm temporarily feeling a little bit better when this person reaches back out or I'm able to reconnect with them. But ultimately, that wound is getting triggered over and over and over again. It's being reinforced over and over and over again that I truly am alone. That's what the thoughts were telling me deep down, that I'm alone. And so I realized that I had to break free from this dynamic. I actually had to stop engaging with these partners that kept me in those emotions over and over again. And it was initially hard. It was a withdrawal process. These hot and cold, off and on dynamics can be very addictive. And so once I decided, you know what, I'm not going to contact this person anymore. I'm going to block them. No more. Yeah, a lot came up for me in the beginning. But like I shared earlier, it then gave me the chance to truly heal, to take all of that energy that I was putting onto this person and having them help me feel better, which ultimately they really didn't. And I brought it back onto myself and I focused on my own healing, getting to the core of the abandonment wound in the first place, because that's what keeps us in these cycles. It's that abandonment stuff from the past that we haven't processed and we haven't resolved yet. So the most important thing that we need to understand about the abandonment wound illusion is just that it is an illusion, that the thing that you need to feel better is not to reconnect to this person, but actually to reconnect to yourself and heal some of those wounds from the past. How do you do that? Well, my favorite way, and what I do for my clients and what I've done for myself, is to use subconscious work, in particular energy healing, to get to those original pains from the past. Like you may have suppressed emotional energies that we call trapped emotions from maybe 2 years old, 6 years old, 10 years old, 12, 13, any time in your past of actual abandonment. You may have an abandonment emotional energy that needs to be released. You may have some fear, some grief from the past that's associated with abandonment that you were never able to fully process at the time because either it just wasn't safe or you didn't know how to. There can actually be also resistances to moving away from this type of person. I've had a bunch of those energies myself that I've had to release. Energetic cords with certain people that keep us caught in those dynamics that once you release them, it's much easier to break away. Same with negative beliefs. We can have a negative belief that I'm alone or no one's there for me. And that wound keeps us hooked into this person who's always triggering it. Because the weird thing about the subconscious is it wants to be proven right. So when there's a person that you're interacting with who makes you feel alone, who makes you feel like there's no one that's there for you, if that is what you truly believe deep down, you're going to be drawn to that. Because again, the subconscious wants to be proven right. It doesn't like having the feeling that it's wrong deep down. So it pulls you towards those familiar dynamics and what you believe about yourself. So when you go into the subconscious and work on releasing those original energies from the times where you felt abandoned, then it becomes much easier to move out of these kinds of dynamics with people. And once you do move out of them, it becomes much easier to go through that withdrawal process and just feel better, feel like you're back to being yourself again. So if you can relate to this experience, if you've had what you would call an abandonment wound illusion acting in your psyche, then let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to hear your experience. But again, the most important takeaway here that I could give you today is that this dynamic, you can break out of it and you can heal from it. You can feel better and you can do the work to be open to the healthier dynamics that you're looking for. The kind of love where somebody is consistent. They don't keep pushing away. They stay. They love you and they're committed to you and the relationship. So speaking of a person who's distant and maybe emotionally unavailable, here's some signs that the person you're with may not be fully emotionally available.